And we're live. Jeet Kune and its associated disciplines, Part 1, Pencak Silat. So my introduction came to Pencak Silat came about in 1983 when it was during my first week ever with Dan Inasano and John De Jong and Steven Plink. They came over to California Martial Arts Academy to do a demonstration of the Minang Kabao style. And I found it really fascinating. I'd never seen anything, those kinds of techniques and training like that Pencak Silat before. So today out there in the Jeet Kune world, there's still people wondering what Silat is, what it's doing in Jeet Kune, and whether or not it even belongs there in Jeet Kune. And I get that because if you look around the internet, you can see a lot of fantastical stuff under the banner of Pencak Silat, down to even like the spelling of the different styles or what have you. So I get how confusing it could be and why some people might dismiss it outright. But you'd be making a mistake to do so. In fact, there's supposed to be a note from Bruce Lee himself stating that anyone who dismisses Silat as some kind of esoteric practice would be making a mistake, and then it's supposed to have been a note to himself to investigate for fighting from the ground, right? So I wouldn't even start there. I'd start at the stand-up and Pencak Silat's approach to trapping and grappling. So hang on for a few minutes and listen to what I have to say to you, right? So like I said, I saw John De Jong and Steven Plink in 1983. And in the years after that, I traveled out to LA as much as I could, and I followed Sifu Dan around the USA as much as I could also. So I spent time on the receiving end of his investigations into Pencak Silat in Baldwin, Missouri at Jim Smothers in 1988, Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1989 at the late Terry Gibson's place, Duluth, Georgia at Sifu Francis's place, that was 1991, Minnesota at Rick Fay's MKG in 92, even here in Miami in 1989 when Sifu Inasano, he couldn't make it because of a near infection, and so the late Pendekar Paul de Tours and Burton Richardson, they did the first seminar for me here in Miami in '89, and then again with Sifu Inasano all the way up until 2006, right? So what can a JKD person, a JKD guy or girl, get from Silat training? So there's one principle in Silat known as tembus, right? Penetration, masuk dan tembus. In the Jeet Kune textbook, if you guys have never, it's here on like pages 42 and 43, right? It's a whole section about trapping, and essentially what it's saying is that you trap not for the sake of trapping. You trap to do something. You trap and take down, you trap and throw, you trap and choke. You shift from trapping to grappling. So you're making use of your trapping, right? So I clearly recall in Janesville, it was August, Janesville, Wisconsin, 1988, summer of '88. And I heard Sifu Inasano say something about that penetration factor in hand trapping. And I remember thinking, well, the Wing Chun trapping kind of stays back here, right? Whereas the Silat trapping drives forward into you because of that penetration factor. So ever since then, I have tried to apply that attitude in the trapping that I do. Other Silat principles emphasize things like off-balancing and hitting in the midst of the trapping and the grappling. So that's why you'll hear the art referred to sometimes as pukulan Pencak Silat, right? Where the pukulan refers to the hitting. I think it comes from the word pukul, which means to hit. There's another principle of Silat also, which is constant forward pressure. Now, if you remember, last week we talked about aggressive defense as a guideline, page 65 of the Jeet Kune commentaries book, right? And Bruce Lee was talking about aggressive defense. Actually, he does term it later on as defensive offense, right? But it was all about being aggressive even when you're defending yourself. So what do you think the Silat concept of constant forward pressure would provide you with, right? Exactly. It would provide you with an aggressive defense, just like Bruce Lee talked about in the Jeet Kune commentaries. Another training principle of Silat is a thing, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, it's a thing known as Kilat. And I guess the best translation of that would be stickiness, right? And one of the drills involves defending using stickiness while moving backwards, right? And I find it interesting, again, referencing last week's broadcast, page 23 of the Tao, in the section titled The Facts of Jeet Kune, right? And I always like to show this stuff so that you guys know that I'm not BSing you, right? There it is. Right at the top, it talks about the economy type structure in attack and defense. Attack, the alive leads, and then here's what it is in the Tao. In the defense, the sticking hands, right? And so here's Pencak Silat that has this training principle, this guideline known as stickiness. So last thing, we're gonna make this very short today. A last thing that I really enjoy in the Pencak Silat is the quick, effective takedowns that can be pulled off while hitting, through the foot trapping and the foot sweeping and all of that. And they don't require that you necessarily go to the ground as well. And we all know that someone will say, that the one of the drawbacks to the ever popular Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is that you don't always want to end up on the ground. So if you have a method where they go down and you stay up, then that might be something worth looking into, right? So I think that Pencak Silat provides an added boost to JKD principles and JKD attributes that you would want to have in your JKD arsenal, right? Now there is an undeniable esoteric Southeast Asian flavor to Pencak Silat, and as an indigenous art, there's a lot to it. There's hundreds of styles, a seeming like infinite variety of approaches and what have you. So a person could go off investigating Pencak Silat and end up becoming quite engulfed in the art. The JKD guy goes in with a pretty good idea of the essence, right, that he's looking for. He spends time in the art. He goes deep, right, spends time in the art, but then he comes back out again stronger, more skilled, and much better for the experience. Okay? So I'm going to be, this particular associated disciplines series that I'm going to be doing over the next few weeks in the broadcast, I'm going to be producing a video series to accompany what we're talking about. So there'll be the physical action. So if you'd like to be informed about that, send me an email at jkdrebel@gmail.com, and I'll add you to the notification list for when that stuff comes out. Okay? All right, so that's it. I Love Jeet Kune broadcast number 71, JKD and its associated disciplines, part 1. Feel free to share, like, comment, ask me questions if you want, and I'll review everything after posting. Sign up for notifications for when we go live here on Facebook, and also when we post the final edits on the YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods, on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. At ilovejeetkundo.com, the Quick Skills Series Volume 1 is still available. Coming up on Friday, April 5th, we're doing the Jeet Kune Dialogues, a JKD Femme Fatale series, so I'm hoping to interview only ladies of JKD. But technically on Friday, Sean Sutton and Yoko Koas of JKD Unlimited Cincinnati. So this is kind of a female equivalent. Yoko just I think she just made her MMA debut also with a successful win. And so we're going to be talking about the female experience in JKD, but also taking a look at the MMA experience in JKD. So that's the Jeet Kune Dialogues at 4 p.m. A little time change for this week also on Friday. And I will see you back here same time next week for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast. Today's a pastel day. There we go. Right? Okay, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Rebels, signing off. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.